Hello, fellow humans. It's a different sort of video today. Things are going to get a little real this week, and I didn't want to have to rewatch myself over and over. And I'm not ready to be that vulnerable on camera just yet. So instead, please enjoy this recipe for slider buns. So, yeah, depression is taking over this week. It's so frustrating because you can feel it happening and you try to fight through it, but resistance is futile. So let's try to detach a bit and look at the big picture. What does a depressive episode look like? Well, obviously I can't say for everyone. I only have my own experiences to go off of. But here's what it's like for me. First, you're in the clear. We'll call it definitely not depressed. Now, for people that are chronically depressed, at least this person, that doesn't look as much like happiness as neutrality. This is the time when I'm most engaged in the world immediately outside my brain. I'm getting things done, my family is fed, maybe even the house is mostly clean. Getting these ducks in a row makes me feel like I'm succeeding at, quote, being a human. I try to get this stage to last as long as possible, but eventually my brain always gets tempted into stage 2. Let's call this the creativity stage. This one is insidious. The problem with this stage is that I genuinely like it the best. This is when I become more engaged with the world outside of my house. I'm reading articles, watching documentaries, and getting inspired by everything. This triggers a flood of ideas. In this most recent run-up, I came up with 14 YouTube ideas, 7 sewing projects, several recipes I'd like to try, and maybe even a book idea. It's a heady time. And maybe if I didn't allow myself to get sucked into stage 2 so completely, maybe I could avoid stage 3. Let's call stage 3 reality comes knocking, because that's exactly what happens. Are there any snacks? I need a pair of socks. Have you seen my backpack? What is crunching under my foot? My local world slaps me with its urgency, and I'm forced to look around at the chaos that's taken over. And that drags us into stage 4, the deep. If stage 1 was definitely not depressed, stage 4 is definitely depressed. Forced to confront what I have allowed to happen to my responsibilities, I can only come to one conclusion. I'm a garbage human. I'm an awful mother, a domestic failure. And for what? For a bunch of silly ideas? I start berating myself. Nobody gives a toss about your ideas. You don't even have the wherewithal to follow through on half of your ideas. And even if you did, you'd pick the wrong things to focus on. You've wasted what little potential you had in your hubris. You really are a spoiled, entitled millennial brat. What makes you think you could create anything that anyone would actually care about? You're even a terrible feminist. The only thing you've contributed to is the overpopulation of the planet. Oh, and now you're going to bed early? You're so lazy. You don't even care about your commitments. Now, logically, I recognize the harm of this kind of self-criticism. Unfortunately, it manifests as even more criticism. You know what? You're nothing but a bully. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear from you. You're awful. Luckily, I don't think I'd ever succumb to a truly illogical depression, the kind that convinces you that the world would be better off without you. I'm too aware of the repercussions, and it would be incredibly selfish to condemn my friends and family to a lifetime of wondering what they could have done to save such a trivial creature. So fear not, my fellow humans. My self-loathing is actually preservationist. This all may sound alarming if you haven't spent a lifetime in my brain, but you have to understand everyone's normal is different. And if you know me, you know my normal can never match what most people recognize as normal. As the roller coaster of emotions readies itself for another lap around the track, I'm going to take these dinner rolls as a win, even if I don't have the energy to make any actual dinner. Take care of yourselves, fellow humans. You deserve it.